You just finished eating. Not a huge meal, a pretty normal one actually, but somehow your stomach feels like it's carrying a small boulder. You're bloated, tired, your brain has basically checked out for the next 2 hours. And the worst part? You didn't even eat that much. Now compare that to what you see when you watch people eat in China. Markets full of food, tables covered in dishes, people eating rice, noodles, dumplings, soup, sometimes all in one sitting. And then they just get up, walk around, go back to work. No drama, no food coma, no lying on the couch regretting every life choice. How is that even possible? Here's the thing. This isn't about willpower. It's not about eating less or having some magical metabolism. It's not your fault that you feel heavy after meals. Nobody taught you how to eat. And that's actually the whole point. Most people think feeling heavy after a meal is about what they eat, too much fat, too many carbs, too big a portion. But in reality, it's almost never just about the food itself. It's about how the food is eaten, the temperature, the order, the pace, the little things that happen before, during, and after the meal that most people never even think about. And those little things, they make an enormous difference. In China, daily life works a bit differently when it comes to food. Not in a strict, disciplined, follow these rules kind of way. More like quietly, naturally, built into the rhythm of the day. You see it in the morning markets where people buy fresh ginger and green onions like it's the most normal thing in the world. You see it in the way elderly people sit down for lunch slowly without rushing. You see it in the thermoses of hot water that office workers carry everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Nobody is following a diet. Nobody is counting anything. They're just doing what their grandparents did. And somehow it works. Here are 6 simple Chinese habits around eating that actually explain why. Habit 1. Hot water before and during meals. Walk into almost any home, restaurant, or office in China, and you'll find hot water. Not tea necessarily. Just plain hot water. Warm, quiet, unremarkable. Elderly people carry thermoses. Restaurants bring it to the table automatically. Students have it at their desks. And while it seems almost too simple to matter, this is actually one of the most important habits. Warm water before and during a meal gently prepares the stomach. It helps the digestive system stay active and relaxed at the same time. Cold drinks, on the other hand, can slow down digestion and cause the stomach to tighten. Honestly, this one feels almost too basic to be real. But ask anyone who switches from cold drinks to warm water at meals and they'll tell you the difference is noticeable within a few days. What to try? Replace your cold drink at dinner with a small cup of warm water or light warm tea just for 1 week. See what happens. Habit 2. Soup. First, not last. In many Chinese households, soup isn't the grand finale, it's the opening act. A light broth, maybe with a few vegetables, a little tofu, some ginger, comes out at the beginning of the meal, before the rice, before the main dishes. This isn't tradition for the sake of tradition. It's quietly brilliant. Starting with warm liquid gently warms the stomach lining and activates digestive enzymes. It signals to your body, food is coming. Get ready. By the time the heavier food arrives, your system is already working. In street food stalls across Guangzhou or Chengdu, you'll see people sipping broth in the middle of the day like it's the most natural pause in the world. Because for them, it is. What to try? Start your main meal with something warm and light, a simple miso-style broth, a clear vegetable soup, even warm water with a little lemon. Just something to open the meal gently. Habit 3. Eating slowly without trying to eat slowly. Here's something you notice quickly in China. People don't rush meals. Not in a dramatic, mindful eating retreat kind of way. Just meals take a certain amount of time. People talk. They share dishes. They pick at things. They pause. In a family setting, dishes are placed in the center of the table and everyone reaches in gradually. There's no individual plate piled high that you feel obligated to finish. You take a little, eat, talk, take a little more. This naturally spreads the meal out over time. And that's where the magic is. Your brain takes roughly 20 minutes to register that you're full. When you eat quickly, you've already overeaten before that signal even arrives. When you eat slowly, not because you're trying to be mindful, but just because the social setting makes it natural, your body has time to catch up. Have you noticed how you often feel fine while eating, but then suddenly too full 10 minutes later? That's the gap. What to try? Serve food in the center of the table instead of plating everything at once. Share dishes. Let the meal breathe. Habit 4. Rice as a base, not a filler. Rice has a complicated reputation in the West. People avoid it, fear it. Replace it with cauliflower versions of itself. In China, rice is simply the foundation of the meal. Plain, warm, slightly sticky. It doesn't need to be exciting, it just needs to be there. And here's the part most people miss. Plain steamed rice is actually one of the gentlest things you can put in your stomach. It's easy to digest, low in fat, and it absorbs the sauces and flavors of everything around it, rather than competing with them. The heaviness people feel after eating isn't usually from the rice. It's from eating too much of everything else and using rice as a way to push it all down. In Chinese cooking, the rice is the calm center. The vegetables, proteins, and broths revolve around it in small portions. The balance is the key. What to try? Think of rice as the neutral background of your meal. Not a side dish, not something to skip, but the quiet foundation everything else rests on. Habit 5. The post-meal walk. In many Chinese cities, especially among older generations, there's a ritual after lunch or dinner that's so common, it barely gets mentioned. The walk, not a workout. Not steps counted on a phone. Just a slow, gentle walk around the block. Through the park, along the street. 10 minutes, maybe 15. Sometimes with family, sometimes alone. In parks across Beijing or Shanghai, you'll see elderly couples walking quietly after meals almost every single day. Not for fitness, just because that's what you do after eating. Movement after a meal helps the stomach process food. It keeps blood sugar from spiking too sharply. It prevents that heavy, stuck feeling that comes from sitting completely still right after eating. The body after a meal isn't meant to be perfectly motionless. It needs just a little encouragement. What to try? After dinner, go outside for 10 minutes. Don't think of it as exercise. Think of it as finishing the meal properly. Habit 6. Food that's cooked, not raw. This one is subtle, but it runs deep in Chinese food culture. Vegetables in Chinese cooking are almost always cooked. Stir-fried, steamed, boiled, sautéed. Raw salads are not the default, and cold foods in general are treated with a kind of quiet caution, especially for people with sensitive digestion. The logic, in simple terms, cooked food is already partly broken down. Your digestive system doesn't have to work as hard. Warm food keeps the stomach environment stable and comfortable. This doesn't mean raw food is bad. It just means that when you're feeling heavy or bloated regularly, adding more warm, cooked vegetables to your meals might help more than you'd expect. On cold winter mornings in northern China, breakfast is often warm congee, soft rice cooked down into a gentle porridge. Simple, warm, easy on the stomach. The very opposite of cold cereal eaten standing over a sink. What to try? Add one warm cooked vegetable to every meal. Doesn't have to be complicated, and even quickly stir-fried spinach or steamed broccoli works perfectly. None of this is about copying China. It's not about following a system or adopting someone else's culture wholesale. It's about noticing something that works and understanding why it works. Warm food, slow meals, a short walk, soup at the start, a bowl of plain rice in the middle of everything else. These aren't secrets. They're not hacks. They're just small, quiet choices that happen to make eating feel the way it's supposed to feel. Comfortable, satisfying, light. The body doesn't ask for much. It mostly just wants to be treated gently. Which one of these would you try first? The post-meal walk is where most people start. And honestly, it's the easiest one to feel within a day or two. If you enjoy this kind of content, simple ideas from real everyday life, subscribe. New video every week. See you there. Week.